Friday Fun Live. Broadcasting today from South Carolina and coming off of a really encouraging time with my friends, Will and Diane. Thank you guys for such a wonderful time yesterday and inviting me down to visit you. They're really sweet Florida friends of mine, and hold on, mute that. Really wonderful friends that I have known for close to 40 years. Wait a minute, maybe 37 years. And they actually read some scripture at our wedding. They were on kind of traveling north, and in Charleston, South Carolina, which is just a couple hours away from me. So I was able to drive down and meet them and have a delightful time. So, always great, especially in times of turmoil like we're in, just to be able to have time with friends and fellowship and just be reminded of what's really important. So, yay, I'm really feeling rested from that. But I'm going to go ahead and start by saying hello to you guys in the chat. Kelly, I am so sorry to hear about all that's going on, but I will continue to pray for you. You've been on my prayer list. I will pray continually for your family situation, and so very sorry to hear about your family's loss. Let's see, and also about the dog. Wow, I cannot imagine coyotes. Although we do have coyotes in the past, we have had coyotes around the house here, so I know what that looks like. But anyway, Maria, buenos dias, amigo. Thank you for joining me. Mucho gracias. And from Peru, wow. And thank you, Judy, for joining us. Thank you for your kind words. That really does bless me. I don't ever get tired of hearing encouraging words. I think we all need them. And even, if you have somebody in your life that you just really appreciate, people that you know face to face in your life, and don't ever assume that they get encouraged too much. I promise you, that's never the truth. Oh my goodness, Heather. Thank you so much. I just saw $20 coming from Heather. Thank you. Let me go ahead and add that to my notes here that I'm keeping track of. Thank you. So we're up to $40 now. This will be for Rancho 3M this coming month. Thank you so much for your generosity there. I so appreciate that. For those of you who don't know, the super chat that we have connected to our channel, I don't push that. I don't, ask for that or plead for that or anything like that. But those of you who want to, out of the generosity of your heart, once you give to that will kind of becomes, well, not, whoo, there goes my glasses. Not kind of, but that becomes my our opportunity to give to charitable organizations. That's one way we do it. We just by you supporting me in the channel and the income that I get from that is also regularly becomes a partial gift to my local church. So I'm just to let you know, when you support me in any way, you're supporting other organizations as well. So thank you so much for doing that. And the two for the super chat that we've designated is Rancho 3M, which is a children's orphanage in Juarez, Mexico. It's also a Christian school there, and many of the students there attend free of charge, serving the families in that poor community, or some of the poorer people in that community. And Shriners Hospital for Children is another organization that we support and really have, a heart for, and such a servant-oriented group. All right, well, let me get back. Thank you again. Thank you. And thank you, Maria, for your kind comments. I can't read it word for word, but I can discern about the videos and crochet. Thank you so much for that. And Kelly wants to know, what is my last name? It's Barker, Barker, like a dog. I always tell people, and let me tell you a funny story real quick. Whenever we go through like a drive-through, which not a lot, but our favorite one is Chick-fil-A, because that's our family loves Chick-fil-A, loves the chicken that they fix there, and the salads, by the way, best salads ever. But whenever we go through the drive-through, my husband just says it's Bill, and that's not his name, but he says it's for Bill because every time we say Barker, it's either Parker, um, Baker. I cannot remember all the. Oh, thank you, Jane. Thank you. I'm sorry. Is that Jane? Yeah, Jane. Thank you so much. I'm going to add that to the list. I so appreciate your contribution. Um, so that's I'm gonna say that's about $5 American. I know that the exchange rate is interesting because that was in pounds. Thank you so very much. Um, but anyway, but yeah, last name is Barker. It's not Bay, but bonniebay is kind of taken from a farm that was adjacent to the Barker farm. It's kind of a historical thing, and we just thought it would be a fun rhyming name um, for my business. So that's why that's where the bonniebay comes from. It's actually originally the name bonniebay was actually originally the name of a blueberry farm in South Carolina. So there you go. Interesting roots. Let's see. Hey, Emily Price is in the chat. Hey, Emily, so glad to have you, and so hope you're doing well, and you and your kiddos there. And we have Margita. Hello there, Margita. Thank you for joining us. And Linda, Brat's mom's good to see you. Hope Brat is doing well. Give him a little scratch on the head for me. Brat is a cat, as I recall. She's from sunny and cool Southwest Chicago. And we have Susan AB in the chat, and Rosemary, and Marie, and Tina, Jacqueline, and Jacqueline is from Los Angeles. She says, we are getting some much needed rain and snow in our mountains. Good for you, Jacqueline. Driving back yesterday from Charleston, I did notice quite a few fires around here as well. There was in fact, I was driving and I got an alert on my app, my CarPlay that there was a fire warning for the area. So yeah, it's a little dry here in the Carolinas as well. So I know that they're getting that under control. It should be fine. But yesterday I was driving back. It was 86. Like, wow, I was running the AC in the car because it was. I just wasn't into 86 degrees in a convertible. Just didn't appeal to me yesterday. Desmita wants to know if I can recommend some hand exercises and other sanitary measures which you follow when you post long hours of crochet on a daily basis. You know what? Desmita, that's a great question. There's a friend of mine. You can maybe look her up. She's in CGOA. And her name is, her last name is Graves. Come on, brain. But anyway, email me if you would, and I can try to post something for you. Oh my goodness, is that 15? Oh my goodness, we're just really racking up getting towards that next song. Darlene, thank you so much. I'm gonna have to add that in too to my little note here. Thank you. So now we are up to 46. We're up to $70. Wow, we're getting close. I might have to break out that guitar again. Thank you so much for that, for your kindness. But getting back to the question about hand exercises, I don't really feel qualified to really get into that too much. But my friend Andy, her name is Andy Graves. You can probably look her up on Google. She does kind of specialize and has taught that, some special hand exercises and things. But one thing I would recommend that you can do, that I can wholeheartedly encourage you to do, and that is set a timer. If you've got your cell phone with you, you've got a timer built into that. Just swipe up, maybe set it for 30 minutes, and then when it goes off, be obedient to the timer if you're serious about it, and get up, walk around, just do something else for a few minutes, and maybe even just give your hands a break that way. But yes, by all means do that. Not only will it help your hands, that'll help your back, it'll help your heart. just get up and move around a lot. Like you may have heard the commercial where it says, you know, sitting is the new smoking. I don't know if I totally believe all of that, but there is some truth to sitting prolonged is not good for you. It's not good for your, you know, muscles in your back and below. So definitely pay attention to that. Is it Arlisa? Is that how you say that? Thank you so much. You're bumping us up to 10. Oh my goodness. Um, so we're up to $80. Goodness gracious. Let me write that down because I do not trust my brain to remember anything these days. Um, but yeah, all that because of Jacqueline's fires in LA. I hope, you know, I hope, or not the fires, but the dryness. I hope things do get better over there. Wanda, hey Wanda, my neighbor from Bahama, North Carolina. We're gonna have to get together sometime. I need to find out exactly where that is so we can maybe meet halfway. Maybe do tea or lunch or something. Um, and Charlotte, hey, I'm so glad that you're there for us. And Jacqueline, thanks for taking care of Kelly. You guys are so kind. And Crochet Done My Way with Wanda. Hey, Wanda, I hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying crisscrossing the country like you always do in your 18-wheeler. And thank you again for serving all of us behind the scenes in ways that a lot of us don't even think about. We have Becky Potts. She says, can't be here today, but have an appointment, but we'll watch later. Well, I'm going to rewatch, Becky. We're saying hey to you, okay? We have Michelle from a chilly, cloudy, and windy central Montana. I have yet to go to Montana. That is still on my list. Although my daughter, I believe, has been there. Mary Ann, if I'm saying that right, from Kenya. Whoa. Welcome, welcome, welcome. That is so cool. I would love to visit your country too someday. And Michelle says, working on my grace throat to calm anxiety. I have a job interview this afternoon. Wish me luck. Michelle, beyond that, right now I'm praying for you in my heart. Oh, Lord God, help Michelle. Give her success. Help her to knock this one out of the ballpark. Amen. Kelly Hart, thank you for encouraging Michelle. That's wonderful. And Alana says, good morning to y'all. It feels like spring today. Yeah, it felt like summer yesterday, but yes, spring is back, which is good. And let's see, you have Tracy Hamilton. She says it's 78 and warm today in Oklahoma City. We have Heather, and thank you for your prayers for our friends, Heather. It's so sweet. And Charlotte, thank you. And Alana, thank you again, guys, you girls, you're so great. And everything just jumped before my eyes. Give me a second here. We have Mel's Kitchen. Good morning to Mel's Kitchen. And we have Just Another Stitch. That's a cool name. Thank you for being there with us. And wants to know how I'm doing today. Doing very well. Like I said, coming off of a good time with friends I hadn't seen in years. And I just love, I loved hanging out with these guys. They're funny, they're punny, and they're very, very encouraging. And it's funny how you have certain friends that you haven't seen like for years, like many years, then you can just pick up and, just carry on and nothing has changed in a lot of ways, even though many things have. We knew each other long before either of us had children. Our children, their son has been married for almost 5 years. Was married the same day as one of my sons. So I mean, yeah, a lot of water under the bridge. A lot of really good water too. So, and I am way behind again. Let me back up here. Well, let me go ahead. Ooh, I am really falling behind. Well, let me go ahead and just talk a little bit about yarny stuff in case there's somebody who's new and you're wondering, when is she going to talk about crochet? Well, I'm going to start right now. The Throw of Grace. I just wanted to show you some more of my progress All I have to do now, I've gotten the popcorn done, and this is in the solid color. As you know, the original was worked in multiple colors, and I really enjoy doing that, but I really enjoy it in the solid color as well. So I'm just working on the, getting ready for the 4-post cabling and then the finishing of it, and I hope to have that done to show you next week. But really, really enjoyed this. This is made with some yarn I'm experimenting with, and as I told you last week, I'm working on, evaluating some of the yarn from, I think I said hobby last week, I believe it's pronounced hobby, which is kind of different because whenever there are two double consonants after a vowel in English, it's usually pronounced with a short O, but obviously this is a Dutch company, it's not English, so I believe it is pronounced hobby. If I'm wrong about that, please feel free to correct me. Everybody else does. But in ordering the yarn, I thought this was their mainstay worsted weight yarn. It turns out it was their DK weight. So the second one I have made is in a DK weight, which if you're looking for a smaller lap blanket or even, a crib blanket for a baby, the DK weight is nice. I really do like the original yarn I used, which was the, give me a minute here. It's by Cascade Yarns. It's called Anthem. But doing the DK weight in this yarn called Amigo by Hobie has actually been a pretty good journey. And in the video that I'm working on evaluating the yarn, I'll fill you in more deeply on my evaluation. I still want to finish out the project because I still have several more balls of yarn to go through. I believe I've gone through about 14 so far, and still just one knot and all that. So that to me is a pretty good sign. I have worked with other unmentioned yarns in the past and have been frustrated to have 10 times that many knots in one ball of yarn. And because of that, I don't use that yarn anymore because I like to be upfront and as I've said in the past, and I'll say in the other video, no company is paying me to say anything good. They're not paying me to say anything good or bad about it. They just said we want your honest evaluation, and I said, well, I'm going to tell you as I see it. I don't. Pardon the expression. I generally don't suck up to yarn companies, so I am not trying to impress them in any way with my words. So when I bring my evaluation, it's the way I see it. So if you know what I'm saying. So again, my commitment is more to you guys, to the crocheters, to the craft, above any other corporation or company. I'm a slave to none of them by the grace of God. So or paid advocate or anything like that. So anyway, now if I like a yarn a lot and I feel like I can, give my good word for it, I will add an affiliate link. And you'll see many of them down below. I'm open and honest and law abiding about all of that. But just to let you know, I don't endorse something that I don't already think is a good product. Life is too short for that. I don't need money that bad to have to do that. And I'm not just trying to sell something and get a one-time customer. I want my customers to be here for life. I want to be faithful, and if you ever find a problem with something I'm endorsing or saying, please let me know, and please come to me first before you tell everybody in all the group chats. I know you don't do that, but some people like to just fuss just for the sake of fussing to everybody else. I don't know why, but if you've got a problem with somebody, with anybody really, this goes, I think, for life, and I know you know this, because you guys are great. But if you've got a problem with somebody, don't tell everybody else. Go to them and humbly bring your observation. Don't tell everybody else. Go to them first, and then if they don't listen to you, that's all you can do. But I want you to help me be better. And whenever and I know many of you know this, whenever there have been an issue with my patterns or even mistakes or whatever, I do the best I can, because we are, after all, still human. I do the best I can to make it right. And but anyway, enough said about that. I don't want to get too negative. Let me tell you about some things that are coming up. But before I do that, if you are working on the Throw of Grace, I am collecting photos for another showcase. The deadline that I have set is March 31st. Now, if you don't have time to finish an Afghan by then, please don't feel any pressure by this, okay? This is only if you'd like your picture included in the showcase. And I know life happens. And if you aren't able to complete it by the 31st, snap a picture of what you have, even if it's just a small center portion, even if it's just the beginnings of one. Um, I would love to just include a snapshot of your work in any form on this project. So again, and you can send that to bonniebay@me.com. All that information is in the video description below. So just email it to me, and just say, photo of Throw of Grace. And please, when you send that, please let me know that I have permission to share, okay? So if you can just say, yes, you have permission, that just saves, some back and forth about getting the permission, because I'm kind of a stickler about that, because sometimes it happens that somebody is making this for um, a special gift for somebody that might actually be on the same websites or Facebook pages, and the last thing they want is for this to be seen by that person. And I totally get that. I totally want to respect that. So again, March 31st, which is little less than 4 weeks out. Please send me your picture of the Throw of Grace by then, and we'll put this showcase together. And I love doing that. Um, and I really already have seen a couple, so thank you guys. And yes, all of the videos have been released on this, so you should be able to go, start to finish on this. And if you have any questions, you know where to get me, bonniebay@me.com, or you can, ask me on Facebook, whatever. Just contact me if you have questions on that, and I can try to answer those. Yarn Fest classes are still open. Yarn Fest will be in Loveland, Colorado, April 20th through the 23rd. Check the links below for the information. I'll be teaching 3 classes. I know you've heard those already. I'm doing Big and Bold Cables, which is a 3-hour class. I'm doing how to create your own shawl, or how to design your own shawl or scarf, kind of like what I'm wearing. That's a 6-hour class. It's going to be a long day, but it's going to be actually, it's probably going to go by really fast, but it's going to be a full day with the break in between. So we do allow you to have an hour for lunch, and we do take breaks. And then the other class is how to design your own texturized poncho or stole. I'm real excited about this one as well, since I'm such a poncho gal. So do check those out. And just keep in mind that when you do sign up, that the funds for that do go towards interweave. It helps me pay some of my expenses getting there. And it does help the fiber industry, both fiber wise, and as well as publication and so forth. So you're helping to keep this going, and helping to support designers, and I so appreciate that. Coming March 7th is the Eileen scarf or shawl, which is the one that I'm wearing right now. This can be worn in a bunch of different ways, and if you're new to my channel, please check out the video on new ways to wear shawls. It's revolutionary. I'm not kidding you, and I can say that because I'm not the teacher. It's my friend Laura from Jewel Design. So definitely check this out, and you'll understand what these leather contraptions and different things are. Although I got this from some other place. When I was in Charleston, I got this from a young man who is a leather crafter. So I had actually just bought the smallest cuff, the smallest bracelet that I could find. And I think it's going to be another great addition to my shawl styling. So anyway, check that out. But March 7th is coming Monday. The Eileen scarf or shawl is coming. And let me tell you, the yarn that I used, I was really happy with it. It is an investment, so this is not the sale, the clearance rack at Michael's. This is quality yarn, and I looked at it again this past week, and I got a message from the young lady, Carolyn, who dyes this yarn. This yarn is, let me see, 60% superwash merino, 20% yak, and 20% silk. And that may not mean a whole lot to some of you, but what it means is the way this yarn takes the dye is, in my opinion, just incredible. And she posted in her Etsy store a whole, and there is a link for her in the video description below, or a description of where you can reach her. Her shop is called Banshee Fiber Arts Studio, and her name is Carolyn Sharp. And she posted a whole bunch of new colors using this particular blend with the yak and the silk and the superwash merino. And I just told her right away in our communications, I said, do you realize how much you're tempting me? I mean, the colors are beautiful. They're not just the natural colors, but vivid, uh, brighter colors that would be fantastic for like a summer wrap that you can stick in your, when you're indoors in the air conditioning, and you know where it's set on freeze. You know what I'm talking about. Although at my age, all I have to do is drink a drink with ice, which I love to do. I love to have my Pepsi Zero every day with my lunch. I know, don't judge me, guys. That's my sweet thing for the day. And every time I drink the ice cubes, I get a chill. I mean, I don't drink the ice cubes. I drink the cold drink. It just lowers my body temperature. I get cold, you know, so it's really nice to have a little wrap or something that I can just put on to kind of ward that off. But anyway, Monday the 7th is the Eileen scarf or shawl. And it is, one more plug about that, it is a design again that you can make it as big or as large as you'd like. The size that I've made for myself, the original, uses 3 hanks of Carolyn's yarn, and each of those have 400 yards. It is a fingering weight or sock weight yarn, and I used a total of 1,200 for the one that I finished. I mean, if you only wanted to do one, you know, with 800, you can make a smaller one. If you want to make a larger one to just really come down and cover you, you can do that. You can just keep adding and just continue the established pattern. Once you understand the established pattern, you're free to make this as big or as large as you like. And finishing it off is easy, no matter how big or small you make. You finish it off in pretty much the same way, and which is here, this side, with the ribbing and the additional rows with the low front ridge, which is it's the low front ridge on one row, but the second row behind that is a row of double crochets instead of single crochets. All right, now that I'm woefully behind on the chat, I'll know I'll never get to everybody. I'm still gonna try. So let me give it my best go here. All right, where did I leave off? I'm way behind, but we're gonna try. Charlene has a great question, and let me check. Oh, Hannah has all kinds of questions. Okay, Hannah, I'm looking at your chat now. People are asking about the shawl. Yes. Yeah, this is the Eileen shawl. Which, by the way, Eileen is an Irish name, and it was also my mother's middle name. So this is named in loving memory of my mom. We never called her Eileen, but that was always her middle initial. So I thought that would be kind of a cool way, because if we went with her name, nobody would be able to spell it. So, or at least not spell it correctly, and that was a real thing she had. So Eileen is the Irish name that we're going with for the shawl. Kelly Hart would like to know if acrylic yarn shrinks if you crochet it tight. To my knowledge, Kelly, no. I don't think acrylic should not shrink. Now, acrylic, if heated too much in a dryer, can become crispy. Or if you get too close to a heater, like I did when I was in South Carolina one winter while wearing a 100% acrylic sweater, it gets really crispy and crunchy on the surface. So you don't want to stand too close to a heating unit when it's really cold if you're wearing acrylic. But it shouldn't shrink if, got a lot of sirens going by here. Okay, we're right down the street from the firehouse, so we do get some of that here. It could be that the acrylic you use, is it possible that it was mixed with a cotton? Because if it's mixed with a cotton fiber, it's possible that some shrinkage could have taken place. But to the best of my knowledge, or it could have had some wool mixed with it. If that's the case, it definitely could have some shrinkage. But I have never known of acrylic to shrink. And I don't know that it would matter if it was crocheted tightly. I mean, unless you're just pulling on the yarn. I hope I answered that question. But I would suggest that maybe there's something else mixed in with it if it is shrinking. Someone's asking. Okay, thank you, Hannah. I hope everybody can hear me okay. I'm not doing anything differently than before. So if you're having trouble hearing me, you may want to just turn up the volume on your device. That might be helpful. Okay, let me go ahead and put the email. Hannah's asking me to do this. bonniebay@me.com is my email. I do answer the email if it's, but just to let you know, if it's over the weekend, I generally don't. And if it's on a Sunday, I have to resist it. I try not to do any, real work on Sunday because that's a day of rest, a day, to rejuvenate, to worship. So if you do contact me over the weekend, just thank you in advance for your patience. I will get to it sometime on Monday or Tuesday if things are crazy on Monday. So I do try to answer promptly. Like for example, I was out of town yesterday, so and the day before that, so things might have been a little off on my response rate there. And I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook. And just to let you all know, you're never going to see that high responsive icon on my page, because if I'm online all the time, quite frankly, I don't get any work done. So in order to continue on with a lot of designs and stuff, you're not going to see that highly responsive icon on my Facebook page. I don't play that game, but I do try to respond as soon as I can. I try to go on a couple times a day and respond to folks. So just to let you all know, it's not that I don't love you, it's just that I do love you guys, and I want to be able to provide more designs and more things to keep us going and to keep the craft growing and getting better and better. Let's see. Oh, we have Francesca from Minnesota. She's working on the throw of grays, and I just love this pattern. I am so glad. Thank you for your support, Francisca. I'm glad you're enjoying that. Oh, thank you, Susan. She said this thumbnail looks pretty. Yeah, this is just a picture of the scarf. Really, I just love the way this yarn looks. I gotta get some more when I get back home to Maryland. And let's see. Oh, we have Deborah in the chat. She says, going to be listening while caulking and painting baseboards. Oh my goodness. I'm on round 74 of the Grace Throw. I'd rather be crocheting, but gotta make hay while the sun shines. Wow, you're an industrial woman, Deborah. That is so great. I know about caulking and painting. Did a lot of that last year. We have Georgetta and Jane from the UK in the chat, and Glenda from Maine, Dina and Amy K and Liz and 0805192252 Abel. Hello there. And we have Jane Scott. Hey Jane, so good to have you here. And she says that's another one on her list, the Eileen Shawl. I'm glad you like my version of the Liberty Shawl. Absolutely. I love the work you guys do. I love watching your colors. I've said that many times before. I love seeing what colors you use, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the colors that folks use, for the Grace Throw. I really like the solid color too. I just have to say that. But yeah, I would love to redo this in like a series of blues, going from maybe dark to light so that you can see the edging a little bit better. That's the one thing about the edging on the original one is it was so dark. I'm not sure that people could even see the edging as well as I wanted them to, but I still like the progression of the colors. So, um, yeah. So anyway, yeah, I like changing the colors too. That was a lot of fun. We have Tracy, we have Mimi in the chat. Jan says my list is ever growing. Um, and Mimi says thank you for the distraction as I crochet along and try not to think about endometriosis pain right now. Um, Maybe we'll have to write you down on our prayer list, my friend. I, that is so hard. Um, we have Archer and Ace. I have $5. I didn't even see that. Did I? Did I see that before? I don't think I did. Let me add that. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Let me add that. I guess I'm not paying as much attention. 4. So it's 2, 4, 6. Okay, we're up to 75. Thank you so much, Archer and Ace. And you all know when we get to 100, you get to endure a silly song. Either an old recycled one that you may not have heard or a brand new one. We'll see. I still have another one in mind, but I haven't perfected it yet. Still working on it. And yes, thank you. And let's see, we have Johanna's Creations from the Netherlands. Wow. So you're probably pretty familiar with this yarn. I bet you've used a lot of this yarn before then, Johanna. And we have Carlina. It says, hi everyone, I'm a newbie to your channel. My name is Kelly from Decatur, Alabama. Roll Tide. Whoa. So Kelly, that's great. Thanks for joining us. You're not too far from my son and daughter over just across the border. Or actually, I have a son and daughter and their spouses in outside of Atlanta. It's southwest of Atlanta, I believe is the term. Oh, Kelly, that's so sweet. She said her dad used to donate money to the Shriners Hospital all the time when he was alive. Wow, that's great. And Just Another Stitch wants to know how I am doing. I think I might have read that one already. I am doing better than I deserve is the answer that one of my old pastors used to give, which is a great answer. So much better than I deserve. And let's see. We have Pat Dancer in the chat. Yay, Pat. And oh, I'm so sorry, Linda. You said that Brat went to the Rainbow Bridge in August, but I have my precious little Daisy May, who was wonderful company. She's watching from the rocker glider right now. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that. Oh, that's so sad. But I'm glad you have little Daisy May there with you. I would so love to have a little animal in the house, but allergies have kept our family from doing that, for many years. And, but anyway, I just enjoy my kids' pets, the ones who can have them, who have gotten pets since they've moved away from home. I just love it when they come because I get to chase their kitties around and play with them and hold them and brush them. And I really enjoy that. Wow, Kelly says it's supposed to be in the 70s today. Enjoy it. It's going to be nice like that today here too. It's a little cloudy, so not as warm as yesterday, but getting back into the spring temps, not as hot as yesterday. And Joanne, yes, I am having a good day. I hope you are too. And let's see. Thank you again, Darlene, for your contribution. That is so kind of you. And Arlisa, is that another one? Did I write that down? I think I did. Yes, I did. I did write that down already. Thank you again. I'm coming up to that in the chat again. So Arlisa, thank you so much again for your contribution. And we have Chickadee Holler. That's a fun name. Says morning, snowing here, ran out of yarn. 7 days till I can replenish. Ooh, you get to learn patience this week. Oh, I know what that feeling is like. I had to wait months for one ball of yarn to come from Lovecrafts, and that was during the height of the pandemic. I had to design the popcorn scarf. Remember that bright kind of a macaroni and cheese yellow scarf that I posted a few months back? I had that ready to go almost 6 months before that, but had to wait for the yarn on that. And so I just had to just put it out of my sight and not even think about it. I was so excited about that one, but I'm patient, and eventually it got released and it became one of the more popular ones, which was surprising to me. Usually I think the real, the real fancy ones like the throws, would do better than they do sometimes. But I think some of these just take time, because I think sometimes the stitches just scare people and they're like, oh, I'll never be able to do that. It's like, well, maybe you can. Um, but yeah, the little projects, people jump right on those, and that was just really cool. But anyway, I had to wait forever, it seemed. But forever ended, and the yarn does eventually come. Carlina says, I'm working on 2 different crochet projects right now. I'm crocheting the chevron pattern, and right now I'm crocheting the milestone pattern. I love both patterns. I'm not familiar with the milestone. Send me a picture or post one on my Facebook page. I'd love to see that. I'm not real persnickety. You can post whatever you're working on. It doesn't have to be mine, okay? I don't have, a list of rules for my Facebook page. I just ask that what you're doing now, you play nice, and I like to focus on encouraging people for their work, no matter what stage of the crochet journey they're on. It's not a competition amongst us. If there's anything that I'd love to see competition is, and that is in the kindness game, is see who can encourage. And I, when I think of that, now that I say that, I think of Victoria. She is always encouraging. Almost, she's every post I see, she's just lavish with her praise and her encouragement of others. So if you want to compete in something with other people, especially other women, compete in being kind and going out of your way to serve one another. That's my advice, because I know that's not our tendency. That's not my tendency. I have to really think about it. But I enjoy that so much better, than trying to up one person on, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, if you want to be blessed, try to bless somebody else. And as crocheters, I know you know that, because most of what we do, we give away anyway, right? I mean, you don't have to. I mean, there's no law that says you can't keep something. You must keep something, just so that you can talk to somebody else about what you do and what you love. And I keep just about all my scarves because I like to wear them. But I do give some away. I've got plenty to be able to do that. But anyway. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir here. We have Regia. Okay, let's see. Welcome to my channel, Regia. I'm so glad that you are here. And Debbie Lewis from Missouri. Thank you for your kind words. I so appreciate that. And Yvette from Puerto Rico. So welcome. Thank you for being here. We've got friends. One of my favorite pastors is from Puerto Rico, and he regularly teaches at my home church in Maryland. Wonderful, wonderful guy. You know who I'm talking about, Hannah. Okay, Kelly Hart wants to know, how many skeins of yarn does she need to make the throw on the chair next to you? As far as of a solid color, I can't really answer that right now, because honestly, I'm not finished. What you can do is look at the total yardage on the one with the color changing, and I believe it was around 23 with the color changes, but you're going to have extra from each of those colors, so it's probably less than that. I'll let you know next week if you don't mind, but the yardage that I'm going to give you is going to be of a DK weight, which I think is going to be in a similar ballpark. But if you don't mind, I can try to give you a more exact number next week, but I believe 22 to 23 of the worsted weight will be more than adequate to finish if you want it in a solid color. But I would take a look at the video just to verify, because I did put the yarn requirements in the video description of the Throw of Grace video. So if you don't mind just double checking that, Kelly, because I can forget and get confused with other designs. It's easy for me to do that. So I definitely checked that video. But so far, I think I've used about 14 but when you do the final rounds, you go through yarn a lot faster. So, and I ordered a total of 23 just to make sure I had enough. So I'll give you those numbers next week if you don't mind. Or if you want to, email me, I can email you as soon as I finish this. I'm hoping to finish it this weekend. Um, so I can give you a more exact number if you don't want to wait a long time. I'm gonna make sure I didn't forget anybody. Um, oh, we have Rhonda from Indiana and Mrs. Debbie LW. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And and Debbie says my view is blurry. You might want to check your internet connection, Debbie. I'm not getting any indication here that I've got a problem, but with the internet and everything, there are a lot of variables in live broadcast. And Judy from Brazelton, Georgia, she said it's nice and sunny and warm. Hey Judy, so good to see you, neighbor. Um, all right, and we have Ms. Vivian, and she says silky yak. Nice. I love the color of that yarn. Yeah, and again, Ms. Vivian, the makeup of the yarn will determine how the dye is accepted by the fibers. I mean, I'm sure there's a whole science connected to that. Just ask any indie dyer. I'm not an indie dyer, so I don't know all the details, but it's quite interesting, and I just the colors that you can see with natural fibers is just sometimes so much better than the man-made fibers. I'll just go ahead and say it. But in saying that, I love both. Again, this is 100% acrylic. This is beautiful too. I use both. I use everything. And let's see. All right, I think I've tried to give a shout out to everybody here. Oh, there's Lynn. It's Lynn. I said Victoria, but Lynn Guider. I think I see Victoria in your name when you post, but Lynn, I was just talking about you, my friend. I hope you knew that. Lynn Guider, she's the one who's always encouraging me. I mean, and I'm sure people who know her in her community face to face just can't do without her. I mean, she's always encouraging everybody on my channel. Thank you for your heart to do that, sweetheart. We have Yvette. I saw Sud said hi to Yvette. Ready? That's right. Puerto Rico, Yvette. So glad you're here. I'm just going back over this, making sure I don't forget. We have Fadwa in the chat. Wow, sending you my regards from Saudi Arabia. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. All the way from Saudi Arabia. That is amazing. It would be so cool to visit your country. So cool. I'm going to be getting close. I'm not going to be in Saudi Arabia, but I'm going to be in that region if all things work out. Still got my fingers crossed and praying and trusting the Lord that we can still do this in the fall of, I guess, in October sometime. And when we do, I'm excited to even try broadcasting from there. Of course, I'm going to have to change the time. But I'm really looking forward to showing you some of the stuff there if we get to go to the Holy Lands. But it's not going to be in Saudi Arabia, but it's going to be closer than I've ever been. So anyway, Lynn, thank you so much. I need you, girl. You don't often hear things like you're gorgeous, so thank you. And I'm not even going to argue with you, okay? I don't necessarily believe it, but I thank you very much. We all need that, don't we? And Beth is in the chat today, and Sandra says, I'm working to finish your pattern. My first sweater, I'll be making 3/4 length sleeves instead of long sleeves. If you guys want to see what Sandra did, she made my first crocheted sweater. It's on my channel, and it's a sweater that's designed, if you've never made a sweater before, and there were only 2 seams, the 2 side seams, and that's it. And then you crochet the arms, and everything is crocheted, in a round or back and forth, and it's easy, I think. But I tried to make it as easy as possible. There are no cables or fancy stitches. But Sandra made one in camouflage yarn for her hubby, and there is a picture of him on my Facebook page. So if you want to look at that later, that's the work of Sandra's hands. And thanks again, Sandra, for sending that in. I still am jealous that you got your husband to ask you for something. You know, I love my husband. He's amazing. There's nobody else in the world I'd rather be with for the rest of my life. Um, but he does not wear crochet. He does not wear crochet. I've even made him a nice scarf here and there, and it just sat in a drawer. But that's okay. I mean, he was very thankful. But he's just not the kind of guy that wears crochet, and I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. But I think it's doubly, triply, quadruply cool that your husband asked you to make him a sweater. And by the way, guys, you live in Georgia, I believe, if I'm remembering this correctly. And it's not like they're living in Minnesota or Idaho or someplace where it's cold. I mean, they're living in the South, and he wanted a sweater. But I guess it's being in the South is reflective of the color he wanted. He wanted a camouflage. So anyway, that was just really cool. Hannah sent me another question. Sandra was asking, oh, wait a minute, the question, what brand is your shawl made of? Okay, again, this is made of hand-dyed yarn from the indie dyer called Banshee Fiber Art Studio. The link is in the video description of where you can find this yarn. And it's a fingering weight yarn, again, made of merino, superwash merino, yak, and silk. And you can get that from Carolyn Sharp on her Etsy page, or from her store. I think she has an Etsy store. So this is not yarn that you would find you can find this in a yarn store if you go to Sew Original in Columbia, Maryland. She does carry Carolyn's yarn and a lot of it. So you may be able to buy it from Sew Original in Columbia, Maryland. You can contact Columbia, Maryland, but I think if you contact Carolyn directly at the Banshee Fiber Art Studio online with the information below. And again, that's not an affiliate link. That's just a friend telling another friend where they can get great yarn. So that's in the video description. And the rest of the question was, and Sandra Zapta asked, what would you recommend for economic yarn, and if it's too variable within each brand? That's a great question, and it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a yarn to substitute for this, any sock weight yarn will work. 1,200 yards of any sock weight yarn. And in the video, I encourage you to seek out the yarn locally. Seek out the yarn in your community. If you have a yarn store, you can check this out. If you go to Hobby Lobby, they have super washed hand-dyed yarn at Hobby Lobby, and it's about $15 a hank, which is much more economical if you're looking at being on a budget. I used it one time. I used that on the Liberty shawl, the colorful one with the dark blue stripes, the dark blue and the purples and the variegated colors. That was Hobby Lobby superwash merino fingering weight yarn. So if you have a Hobby Lobby, you can check out some of that, or you can just use acrylic. I mean, just find a lightweight yarn. If you can't find a fingering weight yarn, find a sport weight yarn. There are a lot more cottons available. If you want to make this into a cotton shawl, that's a great idea for the summer. You can look on Knit Picks. I've got a link for them in the video description. Knit Picks has some fingering weight cotton. I showed you all last week. I don't have it here to show you, but I haven't started using that yet, but I will soon. And I'm looking forward to making a summer top out of that. So try that fingering weight cotton yarn, and you could probably do it for under $20 for the entire project. Well, let me show you something else. Put that over here. Okay. I showed this to you last week. Okay, come on back to Mama. Here we go. I showed this to you last week. This will be coming the week after the Eileen scarf. And this is I'm going to try to post this sooner. As soon as I get this ready to go. This is going to be available much sooner on the Watch channel, just to let you know. I'm going to try to get the Eileen scarf up a couple days early. I'm going to try to have it up by tomorrow evening on the Watch channel so you guys can take a look at it. And by the way, the Watch channel, if you are a member, and it's a paid subscriber channel, it's you can subscribe by the year or you can subscribe month to month. It's only $6.95 a month, and with that subscription you have access to many patterns to these, so you don't have to purchase the pattern. You can download it at complimentary. So when this comes out, for my Watch subscribers, the pattern will be complimentary. You can just download it and follow along, as well as watching the video completely ad free. There is no spam, except I do like to provide information because I know you want information on where to get the things that I used. I do try to include that as much as possible. But again, ad free, spam free. You're not going to be distracted by something you don't want to see, hopefully. Or at least there are not going to be any ads or commercials there. And if you subscribe for the year, and again, all that, the information is in the video description, but if you subscribe for the year, it's a little less. Instead of paying $6.95 times 12, it's $6.95 times 10. So you do save a little bit for a yearly subscription. Well, coming the 7th is Kiss Me, I'm Irish. This is another asymmetrical scarf. And I don't have the yarn for this. The yarn excuse me, that I used for this was found in my stash. I've been in my stash a few years, and the lady, unfortunately, her business did not survive the pandemic. So Lydia's yarn is no longer available, but this is a very common color you can find from a lot of online indie dyers. Or from even your local yarn store. I'm sure they have green fingering weight yarn, especially around St. Patrick's Day, which is coming up very soon, in less than 2 weeks. So, and what this is another, you can wear it as a scarf, you can wear it as a shawl, and I like to, wrap it around, and I can join with some of my equipment that I got from Jewel Designs, wear it as a nice scarf. You can put it off to the side, you can get real fancy with it, whatever you want to do. And this only took 2. So this takes approximately 800 yards and not 1200. If you want to make this larger, you just add more yarn and just keep going at the bottom. That's as easy as that. But it does feature a brand new cable. It does feature a brand new style of cable, which is kind of fun. Okay, so that's coming the week after. This will be March 14th. This will be the day before St. Patrick's Day on my channel. But this is not limited to just St. Patrick's Day colors, obviously. I mean, you can make this in any color. And again, if you looking for a summer scarf, kind of a shawl, you can use, instead of using the merino wool, and this had a little bit of cashmere in it, which is really sweet, you can use that cotton yarn that I was telling you about, the cotton fingering weight yarn would make a delightful shawl for the summer. Okay. Oh wow, Sandra, who made the sweater for her husband, Hannah sent me this. Says her husband surprised her and wore the sweater last Saturday morning. She was so happy and impressed. Well, please tell him that he is a fantastic model, and if he wants to model some more crochet, to let me know. Sandra. Oh, and the green shawl, again, thank you. Someone's asking, what's the name of the green shawl? I'm saying a lot here, talking too fast. This is called Kiss Me, I'm Irish crocheted scarf. Okay? And I was really happy the way this came out. This is one that I started and finished while staying here in South Carolina. Well, it is almost 1 o'clock, and let me see. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Oh, we have Vanessa. I'm so glad you could be here, Vanessa. I just want to look real quick. All right. I think I said hi to as many people as I could. If I missed you, I really apologize. I try to be as inclusive as possible, and if I missed you, it's not on purpose, I promise. But I do like to look at the chat a little bit afterwards. I wanted to read you, before I go, I wanted to read you something. It's a little more serious in nature, but I hope you get the gist of it. Um, I know it sounds kind of oppressive and sad, but I think that I read this, it was sent to me by my son, and it really encouraged me. And I think as I read through this, what I want you to hear is this is a good plan for how to live each day to the fullest, and to be cheerful, and to be resting in what's most important, which for me, obviously, as a Christian, is the Lord, and to just wholeheartedly, have our trust in Him. And that, I believe, is the heart of the author. And maybe some of you have seen this, in light of all that's going on the greater world scene. And yes, we are definitely still praying for the situation in Ukraine and Russia, and for example, my son was in a meeting with some people, and they are Ukrainians, but they're also part Russian. It's a very difficult time. I'm not going to comment politically on any of this, except to say that let's just pray for them, and reserve, withhold hate, is what I would say, because a lot of it's complicated, and my son is working with friends who have family in both places, and if you can just imagine, it's awful, but we are trusting in something greater than our politicians, and greater even than the strongest leaders of the world, which is a good place to be. So I want to read this. It was written in 1948 by one of my favorite authors, C.S. Lewis, and it's called On Living, if I can get through it, Living in an Atomic Age. And C.S. Lewis would have, this would have been 3 years since the bombs that were dropped on, Nagasaki and Hiroshima. So I just want you to listen and try to find the hope in this if you can, because I believe it's filled with hope. In one way, this is C.S. Lewis, in one way we think a great deal too much of the atomic bomb. How are we to live in an atomic age? I'm tempted to reply. Why? As you would have lived in the 16th century, when the plague visited London almost every year.
Call from CMC primary car.
Oh, come on. Okay, good. That stopped. Let me try this again. I'm going to start again. Why? He's asking, how are we to live in an atomic age? I am tempted to reply. Why, as you would have lived in the 16th century, when the plague visited London almost every year. Or, as you would have lived in a Viking age, when raiders from Scandinavia might land and cut your throat at night. Or indeed, as you are already living in an age of cancer, an age of syphilis, an age of paralysis, an age of air raids, an age of railway accidents, and an age of motor accidents. In other words, do not let us begin by exaggerating the novelty of our situation. Believe me, dear sir or madam, you and all whom you love were already sentenced to death before the atomic bomb was invented. It is perfectly ridiculous to go about whimpering and drawing long faces because the scientists have added one more chance of painful and premature death to a world which already bristled with such chances, and in which death itself was not a chance at all, but a certainty. If we are going to be destroyed by an atomic bomb, let that bomb, when it comes, find us doing sensible and human things. Praying, working, teaching, reading, listening to music, bathing the children, playing tennis, chatting to our friends over a pint in a game of darts, and I'll add to his words, crocheting. Not huddled together like frightened sheep and thinking about bombs. They may break our bodies. A microbe can do that, but they need not dominate our minds. When the atomic bomb has really done what is to remind us forcibly of the sort of world we are living in, and which, during the prosperous period before, we were beginning to forget. And this reminder is, so far as it goes, a good thing. We have been waked from a pretty dream, and now we can begin to talk about realities. It is our business to live by our own law, not by fears, to follow in private or in public life the law of love and temperance, even when they seem to be suicidal, and not the law of competition and grab, even when they seem to be necessary to our own survival. For it is part of our spiritual law never to put survival first, not even the survival of our species. We must resolutely train ourselves to feel that the survival of man on this earth, much more of our own nation or culture or class, is not worth having unless it can be had by honorable and merciful means. Nothing is more likely to destroy a species or a nation than a determination to survive at all cost. Those who care for something else more than civilization are the only people by whom civilization is at all likely to be preserved. Those who want heaven most have served earth best. Those who love man less than God do most for man. Let the bomb find you doing well. And a verse from Matthew 10:28 is one of my favorite. And do not fear those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather fear him who can destroy both soul and body in hell. Well, I got through that. So I hope that is an encouragement to you. And I just was so impacted by that. I read that almost a week ago, and I just thought I have to read that to you guys, because that is just wonderful, and by one of my favorite authors of all time, and one whom really contributed to me becoming a believer of the Lord Jesus Christ, and was just thrilled to be able to go to the pub when I was in the UK. Was able to go to Oxford and see the place where he used to meet with the Inklings. So that was amazing. That was really something. But anyway, I hope that encourages you. And while, yes, we are burdened and we will continue to pray for the world situation, don't be overwhelmed by it. And, leave it where it needs to be left, and into whom's hand, his hands. It's not in ours. And I look forward to seeing you guys next Friday. God bless. Love you much. Bye-bye.